Aloha mai kako, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Tales from the Taro Patch. And I'm joined here today by a very special guest. He's a fellow Kanaka. We're like an endangered species, bruh. So, we're like super cool now. His name is Pololu, and he's from Haiku, Maui.
Maui.
And yeah, I'll let him introduce himself.
Okay, well, aloha kako. My name is Polulu Nakanelua. I'm from Haiku, Maui, raised in Wailua Nui. Taro Patch kid trying to make it, that's all.
Yes, okay, I like that. So you kind of answered the first part of the question, like where you're from, but how was it for you growing up?
Well, I had two Hawaiian Catholic parents, and I grew up in a very traditional household. I have an older sister. Up through the Hawaiian immersion program, Kaiapuni, and learned all of my Hawaiian stuff through there. And coupled with my great grandma, that was an old Hawaiian Taro Patch farmer. Grew up in on the east end of Maui, just that kind of country Hawaiian kind of vibe. And I was also raised through the Halemua, the men's house. It was founded in 91. And for those of you who don't know what the Halemua is, it's an old traditional way of raising men, right? So they separate the genders. Females, old people, children, they get sent to the Halepea, where all the nobles. And, like, Hawaiian men cannot teach Hawaiian people how to be Hawaiian people. They can only teach you how to be Hawaiian men. There's different gender roles in our society, and there's a different purpose for each person. And that's how we chose to teach them how to do it. And that's how I was raised. When I was about 5 or 6 years old, I was separated from, the formal household. Once a week, we'd have huis with Hawaiian men from all over parts of society. We had judges, PhDs, cops, ex-felons, all kind of different Hawaiian men. And it was founded in a way to where, post Hokulea and the anniversary of the overthrow in 93, when being Hawaiian started to be, kind of attracting and appealing again. And a lot of the older generation, like our dad guys, they didn't really have like those roots and the history in the background. So
Yeah.
when your kids start going to Punanaleo and Kaiapuni and then go, Dad, how you tie one malo? Dad, what is one imu? Dad, what is this? And Dad don't know.
Yeah.
That's what this particular group was started for, was to teach them the basics, give them a good foundation to, be able to have those answers. Because there's no worse feeling when your kid comes up to you and you don't have the answers for them. Dad's supposed to know everything, right? So that's what my father implemented for the men in his community, in his circle, in his peer group, to be able to have that resource. So,
Bro, that is I didn't even know that about you. Can you like talk about some of like the traditional ways or like traditional things you had to do growing up, bro? Like as a kid?
some of the rituals that come up is one of the main ones. The first one is the Ka'imua ceremony. Let's talk about the malo a little bit. So do you know what a malo is, other than the cloth, I guess?
Well, I know it as the loincloth, yeah. That's pretty much it.
So for us, responsibility of a man is to care for his family and is to care for the village, right? So all of that comes from the laho, your batteries. Batteries connecting to the flashlight, you know what I mean? So when you hume kamalo and you're saying that you're embracing the responsibilities of manhood, it's time for be man now. And in America, how we grew up, that's when you turn 18. That's what a man is, right? The first tell sign when the child is ready, take on all these things is when you mimi, when you shishi,
Aye.
kids shoot straight up and down. It's in a line like this. At a certain time, when your lahos drop, it turns into an arc.
Oh.
That's the first sign, because at that point in that child's life is when their brain kind of switches, and that becomes the opportunity that they're gonna hold on to and sponge everything. If you like learn one out of language, you like learn one discipline, whatever, like that's the time that kids are most susceptible to learning stuff, like swearing, like doing drugs, like reading. Like that's the time where they pick up on good and bad things. That's the first sign. The second sign is when they start driving everybody nuts because they don't have an outlet to go anywhere. So they're climbing trees, eating cat shit, pantsing their friends, like doing all kinds of dumb stuff because they don't have like anywhere to divert or focus that energy on. So that's where you take them from the mom and you wean them off. And then what they do is they line you up in front of all the men and they state you all your responsibilities and what you're ready to do, the challenge to become a man in society. They kick you in the back and they thrust you into the group of men and they accept you that way. That's the ka'imua ceremony. That's when a child becomes a man or is ready to take on that responsibility. Now, in that responsibility is the hume kamala. That's what I talked about earlier. Now, in Hawaiian traditions, we have ku and hina, right? Man and woman.
Yeah.
Masculine and feminine. Not necessarily like what we know as today, as what gender roles are supposed to be. It's black and white. You either get one umeke, you get one puhi. That's what it is. And he made it work in a way with respect to mahu. That's a totally different subject, right?
Yeah.
And he made it in a way to where we have different kino lau for different sides. So one of the main kino lau for ku or kane is the ulu tree.
Yeah. You want to tell them Olelo about the ulu tree real quick?
If you want to handle it, we can. I'm all good. Oh. I can tell that.
Yeah.
Do like a little size version.
Just run through it fast. I like that story. I love this story.
Rewind back 2,000 years ago. Had Ku, had Hina, and he had his bunch of kids. And had one famine, and everything was dying. The animals was getting sick. They couldn't eat them. The crops wasn't growing. Everything was dead. Vavi. That's what we call that. So Ku decided to sacrifice himself. No different from a certain, religion that everyone follows. Sacrificed himself and he put his head in the ground and he buried himself and he said, whatever comes out of this is for my family, this is for our people. So hung upside down and the ulu came out. The ulu, right? And in the ulu, in that growth, there's a natural steroid and there's a natural testosterone booster, complex carbohydrate. It makes everything fun, So that's why it's called ulu, to grow.
I didn't even know that.
That is the responsibility that man took at that time. So when you look at the ulu tree, when the flower comes out, and there's a leaf that covers the fruit when it buds.
Yeah.
That flower is called a malo. You're covering the ku energy, right? And hume, when you cinch it together, you're telling everyone that you're ready to embrace responsibilities of manhood and everything that entails. So that's one of the first things that I had to go through in the mua. That was the very first one.
Bro, that is super interesting stuff. And like, is this this is on Maui?
We have one on Maui. There is a guy named Poki'i. He runs a halemua on Oahu in Nanakuli. And there's another sub that we have that's run by not under anybody specific, but Kamana Opono Crab is one of the heads. Oha. Two PhDs that are with him as well. Kavika Tengan, Dr. Kiabe Koholukula. You have a Master Kalaimoku, Kukona Lopes. There's a few Dr. Dex. I don't know if you've heard him. Dexter Keaomoku is his name as well.
Right.
You've seen him on a lot of Aloha Aina stuff. And these are just some of the guys that that we affiliated with at that time. It's Oahu and Maui. I'm not sure if they still get together, but I know there is a halemua in Nanakuli now. They call it the halemua Okuali'i, I think.
Oh, that is super interesting stuff, bro. So like you basically got kicked in the back into like a pit.
Yep. To the pit of the man.
How old were you when this was happening?
6.
Oh, okay. 6. Holy shit, bro. That's kind of nuts. So like how long did you stay? Like it's not like a program, but like how long did you stay like doing that?
Well, there's 2 different seasons. Instead of spring, summer, autumn, whatever, winter, we have 2. There's the Kau of Ku, which takes place in the beginning of summer and going into the end of winter. I think I forget the solstice where the specific day it is.
Mm.
Then the other rest of the year is the time to recoup, and it's the time of lono. So we have our vehe, and we open up the season to ku, and that's when we work once a week, every Wednesday. And at the time, my dad was a fireman, so his schedule would switch. So one month it would be Wednesday, when the next month comes, it would be on a Thursday. And we do that all year round till Lono season came around, and then we did a punny. We'd rest for about 2 or 3 months before we start picking up again. I was doing that from when I was 5 years old or 6 years old, all the way up until I graduated high school. Even after college, we were still kind of meeting up. I stopped basically after I moved.
Oh, so you got to like basically start teaching younger kids then after you.
I had a couple kids behind me. Yeah. My dad started a nonprofit. He got a grant under what he called the Kali'i project under Kameheo o Kahonu, their LLC that they were running, and they had a program, a 3-year grant that helped at-risk youth. Wannabe gang members, kids having kids, drugged like almost in and out of juvie, whatever, youth challenge. They wanted to take the worst of the worst and some of the best and everything in between, and just give them better opportunities. And through that, some of them went to trade school, some of them went to college, some of them went to military. Like it was a real good success for those kids at that time. And I was a part of I was kind of like the arc, like a guinea pig almost. Like you show, hey man, this shit works. So it was a lot of pressure, but also like it was normal to me at the same time. I didn't realize how isolated and like different my life was in comparison to what these other kids are going through. So that was a real opportunity for me to get a little bit of, I guess, perspective. Grass is greener on the other side, but it's also shitty. So check your privilege. And I had the opportunity to learn from a lot of older guys, a lot of kua'ana, and then I could pass on some information to my kaina when they were open to it.
Bro, super cool stuff. So like what schools did you go to growing up other than like what DOE kind schools did you go?
I went to Punana Leo when I was 3 and learned Hawaiian that way. Hawaiian was my first language because I was already speaking in the house with my grandma and them. My sister was 4 years older than me, so she was already talking. My dad taught himself how to speak Hawaiian. My mom could understand. She wasn't fluent, but she enough to keep a conversation. So Pololu Hawaii was very prominent in my household from the gate. Then I got into Kayapuni, and I went all the way up until Papa Lima, 5th grade. And then I got into Kamehameha from 6th to graduation. So,
okay.
But I still kept that Lohona Hawaii and Mo'oku Ohau like very much close to me. Like I didn't just let a lot of people that leave Kayapuni kind of let that go, and they just know how to speak. But I guess the real root or the substance of everything that you learn gets kind of let go.
Yeah. I see what you mean. So I was gonna ask, you pretty much answered it. So Olelo Hawaii is your first language. So like nowadays, do you feel that you like think in Olelo Hawaii or more English?
I definitely have learned to separate it. So when I do Hawaiian things, I think Hawaiian.
Yeah.
When I do Haole things, when in Rome, you gotta do as the Romans do. You cannot think like one Hawaiian and succeed in an American aspect or perspective. That's not gonna work. You gotta be able to jump and switch and mend and blend because you get Kanaka Hawaiians, then you get Americans, then you get Heineken Hawaiians, coconut Hawaiians, wood Hawaiians, and you gotta like each mindset doesn't necessarily translate. People try to like conceptualize additional aspects of things in a modern way. And that's not always it's I'm not saying that it's not possible. It's definitely tradition does have room to innovate and play around with for sure. But certain things is koho'ia already. It's done. Like you can't play with that. People have been doing things for 2,000 years and they found the way that it works and there's no playing with it. People still try. But getting back to the original question, yes and no is the way I can answer that.
Okay, so I'm sure you've seen floating around social media lately. There's like the people have been arguing about the origins of aloha. coming from a first language speaker, what is your mana'o? Like, do you feel that the separation alo and ha is more of a modern thing?
I mean, it can be. I mean, if you make it make sense, it makes sense to you if it makes sense to you, right? So, you talking about the word or you talking about the whole concept? Because I got a whole load of stuff to throw up if you want to talk about the concept. But
Well,
the word itself,
in essence, I'm talking about the concept, but you know, I'm sure you've seen like the stuff going
the
on.
alo and the ha
Yeah,
and all of that.
yeah.
So, me, I'm gonna say no. I think that's one modern. I think that's one modern thing. Only because if you look at the individual word itself, alo doesn't mean face. It's everything. It's with your eyes, it's with your mouth, it's with your nose, it's with your. This is your alo. This isn't your alo. The only reason, like I said, we have to conceptualize, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When Americans came and we had to talk about the face, this whole thing is my face looking at you. So, po'omaka ihuaha alo. That was the only Hawaiian equivalent to English that we had to translate at that time. So we're gonna say alo. No different from akua. Akua doesn't mean God. It's way more of a broader perspective beyond their comprehension. But I'm writing a dictionary, I have to write something. So that's the closest thing that you can put to that. That's why I don't recognize alo and ha to be separated. Sometimes when you look at one pu'u is one pu'u. There's really no way to kind of describe it any place else. It's just one hill, you know. So I'm gonna say no. As far as the concept goes, this doesn't has anything to do with your question. This is just me going off here. Aloha is conditional. Me. Everyone says no matter what, rich, poor, bad, worse, no matter what anybody to you, bullshit. I call bullshit on that. Why? Because at that time, when aloha was aloha, right?
Mm.
Everybody give to everybody with no expectation. I give to you, you give to me, together we will be forever. That's how aloha works. Because we're on an island, have a finite amount of water, a finite amount of resources, a finite amount of food, all of this finite amount of shit, right? And we never had the mentality of owning something. I'm gonna eat this. This doesn't belong to me. I'm gonna eat them, gonna give me mana, out the lepo and going back to the aina, right? It doesn't nothing is ever existing in one place at one time. It circulates. And so we don't own anything. So when the Po'ehaole came over here and they started implementing owning stuff, putting fence lines and borders and pala and all of that, it gave us that we didn't know how to take. We just only knew how to share. Here, take my women. Here, take my land because I'm not using that spot. Go ahead. It's gonna come back to me anyway. Because the concept of it not coming back wasn't in their brains. That's not how our society worked. We had all of this shit figured out. And then you institutionalize everybody and brainwash them and telling them that this is the way, the great white way, right? Follow the great white God, follow the great right way, the great white everything. Screws everybody up because we're not fundamentally introduced to this kind of lifestyle. So it's really
Yeah.
foreign to us. And so aloha became unconditional because we didn't know how to live any other way. And that hurts us and holds us back. Because if you share everything you have and you're not getting anything on the back end, you're not going to have anything to share anymore. And who's at a loss? You. Now we got to start being selfish now because we're not getting anything anymore. That was the beginning of the infection. That's what I'm trying to decolonize all the time. You have to be careful. Aloha is conditional. Because prove me wrong, it's gonna hurt you. There's a time and place for aloha. I'm not telling you to stop sharing and stop loving. I'm just telling you to be careful about it. That's what aloha is to me.
Oh, pra make ko manao. That was Hamas. So like, how did you get into fighting? First of all.
Second grade, nah. um, so getting into the fight scene, I was beat up a lot as a kid, like getting ganged up on by fifth graders just for. I was small, but my mouth was big. It got me in trouble. One kid would give me action or whatever, and I'd light him up, and then I say, "Yeah, go tell your friends." Then he go tell his friends, and then I'm in trouble. So I didn't really know how to defend myself properly. I would like be biting people and pulling out pencils, trying to stab people and throwing furniture across the classroom, just throwing manic tantrums. And instead of the kid that's bullying me, that's twice my size, go in one corner and go learn how to be a better person, I had to learn how to react. That's not how we do things. For me, I don't care what anybody says, bro. If somebody hurt you, hurt them back worse, and then you hurt them again, so they don't mess with you anymore. Everyone says that violence is never the answer. Those are people that don't know how to fight. I tell you that. So anyway, back to the point. I'm projecting here. Sorry. I was getting beat up a lot at school. I was getting freaking dunked in trash cans by janitors. I was just getting thrown around a lot, and then I was acting out. So my dad put me in the only martial arts school that was available to me in where I lived, and it was a Taekwondo school. My dad knew how to do some stuff, but the relationship that me and my dad had, I was a hard head kid. Like I never wasn't teachable at that time. He couldn't teach me. My dad tell me do something, and my mom tell me do something. It's a whole project. So all of a sudden, you put me in one box with somebody in the front of the room. All of a sudden, I can kind of understand it, especially when it's martial arts stuff. So he kind of walked me around this Aikido school. I never liked that. Too soft for me. Then I walk into the Taekwondo school, and everyone's screaming and kicking and it's like, oh, this is exciting. All the flashy stuff. And I got into that for a little while. Then started to use the Taekwondo in school, and it wasn't working. I kept getting leaking. So that never worked. And so at that time, a jiu-jitsu school opened up, Maui Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Haiku, run under a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. His name's Luis Heredia. He's a black belt under Hickson Gracie. He opened up a school in Haiku. And my dad asked me, he said, do you want to keep doing this? And I'm like, no, I don't. I took a couple of years off, and then he walked me down this hallway, maybe 5 minutes down the road from where I live. I used to ride my bike to practice all the time and fell in love with jiu-jitsu in 2007. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since I was 12. I wasn't good at it for a long time. I was catching cracks. The shittiest kid in the room was beating me up. I was not good. And, I still feel like I don't deserve the rank where I'm at now, but, that's arguable, right? But just loved it. I loved being in the room. I loved the way that my mind worked. I wasn't good in school, and I really cared about learning different things and how to use my body, the fitness aspect, the discipline that it gave me, and just carry your body differently. And fast forward after that, I was kind of decent at the grappling and wrestling aspect, so kind of ventured into boxing, kickboxing, and I got into MMA later. It wasn't up until December 2008 where I saw this guy. He had flowers tattooed all over his legs, and he locks the lights out of this guy, Richie Hightower. Blue mohawk, and after he knocked the guy out, he starts celebrating, doing this half-assed his own rendition of what a ami is, and I'm like, that's kind of Hawaiian. I hate this guy. Dad, I didn't even know who BJ Penn was. I didn't know who Kendall Grove was. I didn't know who all these big names was. I didn't know shit about fighting. He was the first guy that I saw, and I was like, I think that guy's Hawaiian, Dad. I'm looking at him. I'm like, Hawaiians can do this? You can be on TV and stuff? And he's like, yeah. So that guy was Troy Mandalones. He's from Hilo. And that was the first guy I seen in the MMA scene. Then I started kind of getting into it. My dad would take me to the Rumble on the Rocks. I would watch guys like Eddie Joy and Dominic Ani, Maui guys, rising up in the ranks. Then I started getting into Kendall Grove and Brandon Vischer and all these big Maui names at that time. Nissen Osterneck was in the UFC. He's from Kula. I really, really started getting into hey, I want to do this shit. Let me take this a little bit more seriously. And my first fight was in, I started going to school in Hilo. I was doing my fire science degree, doing that over there, and started training at BJ Penn's gym. That was my first real MMA, I'm gonna fight gym that I trained at. So that's how I got into it, and it just kind of took off from there.
Solid. So did you win or lose that fight?
Oh, I lost. It was one of my worst performances ever. It's still on YouTube. You can watch it. I didn't know dick about shit when it came to fight. It was me and my boy Austin Block. He was a state champ wrestler from Kekaulike, two Maui boys, and I would train with him and his girlfriend Kiana, my wrestling teammate from high school. And it was just us at the UH Hilo weightlifting health center, and that was our gym we were training at for 6 months. And that was before I went to Boss MMA. We were just doing whatever the hell we thought. and this one girl, Zena Kyoto, kind of doing off and on, but like not committed to a gym, kind of a thing. We were just two idiots with our thumbs up our asses, not knowing shit about anything. It was me and Austin, and then I was training with this guy, Shaden Lealoha. He's from Puna. And we all wrestled with like their high school, going to practice over there, hitting the bag at the gym, and I didn't know anything about fighting. You know how guys warm up in the back? Like coach and this and that.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. Like what I did for my warm up, stretched out for like maybe all of 10 minutes. I took 2 scoops of pre-workout when they said my name and I walked out of there. I had to shit my pants. It was insane. And I went crazy. So I was doing all spinning shit, like burning myself out, like the sloppiest Taro Patch tornado you've ever seen. It was so bad, bro. Embarrassing. Everybody loved me that night. Well, for the most part, like all my friends that I knew that were there loved me. But walking down, they're calling my name. I'm like walking into the ring and I just hear, "I faggot," and I'm just like, oh, like all right, like that's what this life is. Okay,
Yeah.
go through the fight. I'm fighting this uncle. He's all of what 29, 30 maybe at the time. I'm freaking baby 18, baby face yet. Like I still have hair. Like I was a young boy and I didn't know shit from my ass, and it was fun, you know. And in those moments, like when you get hit in the head and in front of all your friends and family, and the lights is beaming and the music is booming and people throwing shit at you, you go through one of two things. It's I don't want to do this anymore, or I really really want to do this. Me being the crackhead, crazy, whatever ADHD menehune that I was at that time, I really, really liked it and I wanted to keep doing it. So I learned a lot from there, and I'm like the slowest learner possible. Like you gotta teach me the same thing. The lessons get harder and harder and harder each time. And that's basically been my entire career so far. It's been lessons like that.
Damn.
That was my first fight, my first experience. I lost that one.
Did you walk out with the mahiole?
I didn't have the Mahi Ole up until 2019. This guy Lokela made it for me.
Yeah, I follow that guy on Instagram. He's big time.
Yeah, he's big time. He so all of my male Hawaii, it's not mine that I bought or that like had to myself and their family heirlooms or anything like that. The only thing I had was my model. And as I grew as a fighter throughout my career, I found myself growing as a Kanaka as well. You know, I had the same goal, but it kept getting more refined and sharpened and sanded down and more like pinpointed as I grew. So as I grew as a fighter, I grew as a Kanaka as well. I started reading more. I started thinking in my house when I'm by myself, talking to myself in Hawaiian, talking to my dad as a mu'o in the hale mua, and him being the olohe. I got to actually learn from him instead of him being my dad. He was like more of my teacher with that kind of stuff at that point. Started to learn how to network and shoot out my ave aloha to anybody that knows anything, and just kind of take on to everything that I have to just make my brain a little bit more expansive as far like, you gonna be this Kanaka thing. Somebody's gonna ask you these questions and you don't know. Like, I don't want to ever be in that position. Ever when I don't know, I'm always the first to admit it, and I'm always open to learning.
Yeah.
Because if I don't know something, I want to know something.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of influential Kanaka in my life, and you know, guys like Lokela, and whatever reason that they choose, decide that I've earned the right to carry something. So he had his mahi ole poheo heo. He reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, brother, I want to get this to you. Like, give me your sizes of your head. I'm gonna ship this out to you." And I said, "Okay, like right on." My ka'ai that I wear around my waist, the girdle for the gut, you know, that was made by somebody named Meredith. She's on Koko Ole, but she's learning weaving and ulana ohala through another actual Kanaka master. She gets all her mo'oku auhau from a Hawaiian.
Hi.
That relationship was developed through Instagram. I was scrolling and I liked her work. I saw her work online, and I see all these comments of Kanaka like bashing her. You know, she's making money off our traditions, off our culture. You know, how dare this haole be doing this? When she get mo'oku auhau, you know, she has a teacher
Ike Hawaii.
or a store, that she goes through that approves all of this. This is all sanctioned. This isn't her just pulling it out of her ass. So I'm seeing all these guys shitting on her, and I'm like, okay, I get where the anger and the emotion and I guess like the fire comes from. You gotta look a little bit deeper. So I think the question is, why is this girl doing this? Sure. How come you not?
Yeah.
Why does it take a haole love and care for something that you don't do?
Ew.
Why your cousins is banging lines and humping honeys and jumping in the Yodas and tailgating on the side of the road every weekend.
Ew.
Instead
Fuck
of
it.
what?
Go plant some kalo, bro, or learn something about your culture.
Do literally anything.
Bro, so much people like to complain about when howlers come and learn about Hawaiian stuff, but it's like, bruh, they're taking it upon themselves to go out and learn that stuff, bruh. Like, you guys are born here and you don't even care. So don't even, bruh, you only care because they're doing it better than you.
Yeah.
Bro, so, I attest to that.
But it's not taking anything away from those people who have those expressions. That's 100% right on. Now, if you're a Lauhala person and you're an Ulana person, you have a right to feel that way. But I'm telling you, if somebody has a source of people, they call them kumu. I don't like that phrase. We'll get into that later. You have a teacher, right, that they learn from in traditional ways. Right? So if you go through all of that, or just ask your teacher, hey, who's this girl? Who's she learning from? And then she's going to tell you who she's learning from. Real recognize real, right? So that just ends the argument right there. Like, if anybody has a problem, let's say you get Taro, right? You get no offense. And it's all these problems. The leaves is dying, the fruit is eating. Haole is always gonna howl. Always gonna get pigs, always gonna get mongoose, come eat up all your crop. Always gonna have vavi. You're gonna have fungal infections, sometimes from the inside. It's not foreign issues. All you gotta do is follow the problem. Foreign and domestic, you cut that shit out, right? But why are we gonna be? Don't get me wrong, like there's a time and place for any kind of Hawaiian, all that stuff that I've talked about before. But like, why are you gonna contribute to the problem?
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe if your nephew that was smoking weed, he was 15, instead of being in the Taro Patch with you, like, no, nothing wrong with smoking weed, but like, not Taro too, on top of that. Like, for me, it's just like, if you're adding to the solution, then you're fighting the problem rather than just killing what you think the problem is. So I went after all these guys and I defended her on these issues, and they all fucked off. Like, what they gonna say? I'm not wrong. Like, I don't really argue based off of emotion.
Yeah.
These aren't my opinions. These are valid questions. Like, yeah, why is this Haole doing this? It's wrong, blah, 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 blah. She has a Hawaiian teacher. You have Hawaiian family members. You're a Hawaiian yourself. So maybe if you put your head out of your ass and your thumb out of your dick hole, maybe there wouldn't be a spot for Haole appropriating or misusing our stuff. If you were just in the spot. If you're in the spot, now you get something for say. Now you get the space. Now you get the weight, right? Now you got the leverage. But if you're not in the space, why are you talking for? Like, no more business. So people like to get in on people like that, but I have a deep appreciation for people who love and care for our things the right way. Now, I'm not advocating for all this will come and learn and do our shit and do whatever they like. That's not what I'm doing. So I did that for her, and then she reached out to me and she was like, I really appreciate what you did there, and I'd like to do something for you. Do you wear papale? I'm not into that, but I have what they call a tatua. It was a gift from me from the Wanganui Marae, or the Iwi in Aotearoa.
Cool.
My friend, his name is Pehi.
Pehi.
And they made Pehi Waho.
Bro, I interned with him at the fish pond.
Yeah, that's fun out to us.
Pehi! Oh, that's cool.
You tell him you know me, he gonna lose his mind. But he gave me a tatua. It's up there, thing right there, and I was wearing that to my fights because they's fun out to me, they ohana to us, they ainga to us. So I carried them with me, and I figured why not wear something Hawaiian? If I'm trying to be this Hawaiian guy, Hawaii and all that kanako kaina, I should be wearing Hawaiian things, right? So I told her, make one ka'ai or one ka'e for me. And she's never done it before. And so that gave her an opportunity to grow as an ulana, you know, like so she can evolve in her respected discipline in her kuleana. I gave her that type of mana. So she made that for me. She came out to Vegas, we met up, and then we exchanged it that way. So to answer your question, no, I never have the mahi ole. I never have all that stuff. It all just grew like along my career. So as I grew as a fighter, I grew as a kanaka too, and I picked up a little things along the way.
Super fat tangent, but that was a killer story time, bro.
I do that a lot. I get that from my dad. It's very how hot is the fire, and I tell you where the match comes from.
No, yeah, that's perfect for podcast, bro. Let's share it. So, like, is there any any things you can recognize, or like how, like, your culture and being a fighter intersect?
Ooh. So that kind of brings on another tangent. Stay with me. So that's the whole reason why I'm pretty much still in this thing, right? I grew up in a particular way with rites, rituals, traditions, all of that stuff. Right? And felt very isolated and different, almost National Geographic. You can feed this child for 35 cents a day, kind of a perspective that people look at me like I'm an animal in one zoo. And I don't know, that's the term still like died down, but when I was in high school, everything was, oh bro, you so native, native. I hate that word. Just because like people that's calling me that is all Hawaiians. I'm like, bro, you guys is the same as me. Like, why am I so off-putting to you? You know? N-word me was native. It should be normal. You shouldn't follow, and you should look at me and go, yeah, so what? And it's starting to get like that. Since I was a kid, since the Mauna Kea movement happened, since all of that, it's been less and less like, wow, you know, to a normal thing. And that's what I wanna promote. I wanna show that there's time and space for kanaka to be kanaka in Hawaii. There's no worse feeling going to Keonepo'o or Baldwin Beach, running down your own Onehanao, and all these holidays looking at you like you a monkey escaping from the zoo. They're looking at you up and down. And I'm Hawaiian in Hawaii, and I'm getting that. And some is from your own people sometimes because they don't even know what malo is. And it's not their fault. That's just colonization, like, realized. And they did a very good job. As hard as we Kanaka fight to be Kanaka, Haole worked just as hard to kill us off and brainwash us, and they won in that time. As long as we keep breathing, as long as we keep doing that thing, every Hawaiian child that spits a Hawaiian word is a fuck you to the system. And that's what I'm trying to promote.
Ew.
In every aspect that we do. You and fighter, you and farmer, you and freaking garbage man, I don't care. Whatever it is. Just ho'o kanaka something. It shows that, look at Mo'oku Ohau and Nohona Hawaii as like a living organism, yeah? And if the organism doesn't adapt and adjust and change and work for this place in time that it's in, it's just a relic. It just becomes something in a museum that you blow dust off of and say, at one time it was like this.
Bro, exactly.
Hawaiians talk about Hawaiians, they go, oh, the people of that time, or oh, the Hawaiians. Like, don't say the Hawaiians, say we. We do that because that's you.
Bro,
you know?
it's so funny. I actually have like an experience that like solidifies what you're saying. So I forget what the exact situation was, but I remember I asked my kumu, I was like, hey kumu, do modern day Hawaiians like meh? And he's like, I don't know, do you do that? I was like, yeah. And he's like, what is your answer? I was like, oh, like mind blowing. I was like, oh, you're so right. I'm a modern day Hawaiian. Holy shit.
Yeah, shit. I mean, I'm Hawaiian and it's modern day. Whoa, when did you die? Oh my god, you know? Yeah. Congratulations, welcome to the party. We've been missing you, man. Late. Fuck up. Better late than never.
Classic, bro. So
I related to fighting. So to separate that, there is a relationship between modern day fighting and Lua. So what do you classify Lua as if somebody was to ask you what that is?
I know it's the Hawaiian martial arts, but I know it's like not only breaking stuff but also like healing too, or it encompasses like it's not only fighting, it's like a whole bunch of yeah.
Everything. Every kuleana that we have. If you like be on Olapa or on hula dancer, this is your way of life. You live this way. If If you like be one kalai va'a, one kalai ki'i, one carver, you go live like this.
If you want to be a mahi'ai, you live like a mahi'ai.
But through Lua is a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's a bruh, you can put this on hippie t-shirt, but it's a way of life, bruh. If you don't do the things that requires you to become successful you're not gonna be able to be that. It's Japan, get karate. Korea, get taekwondo or awando. You get freaking capoeira in Brazil. You get all these different standard martial arts, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
Martial arts in these fighting styles is just I'm gonna kick somebody's ass, I'm gonna bust chops, and then go home eat. That's not what Lua is.
Yeah.
It's all of those things, but like we have all of these sub disciplines in Lua, right? So you have Hakoko, wrestling, you have Kula Kulai, the takedowns, you have Moko Moko, the boxing and striking. You have all of these different sub disciplines, and that's what I think that people like kind of mull over and ignore.
Yeah.
Lua is more than that. You need to grow food. And so you can aipono. If you're eating like shit and you're 300 pounds, you can't perform. You're not in good physical condition. I like see you doing flying knee and be 300 pounds at 5'4". That's not gonna work. You have to be in good condition. You have to eat right so your body doesn't throw its pH off. All of our kupuna, they knew all of this.
Yeah.
It's to a science. If you go left instead of right, your whole life is gonna turn upside down. Then you get crazy and your mind gets all twisted and crazy, and like that's what the pule is for.
Yeah.
That's what the religious aspect of Lua is for. That's why you channel that mana to that akua, because the nature of that akua that encompasses and that requires needs you to be a certain way. So that's how Lua translates into my life as a fighter. All of these little things that I do, I get a nutritionist, I watch my weight, I gotta work out in the gym as on top of learning technique. Gotta like go home and like compartmentalize my mind so I don't blow a switch. That's how you get guys like Sean Strickland. You guys get all crazy. And so you need to hone that down, and all of these different things that keep me together who I am. That's all Lua. That's what all of that is. So that's how that relates to, Wakaiko Aike ao Malama.
Yeah, I like that a lot, bro. That's cool. So like, did you practice Lua when you were growing up in the hale that you were in, or?
I didn't formally. I wasn't old enough to learn certain things. The Olohe at that time didn't teach it to me specifically. Like Pololu, this is what you do. This is the Ai'iho Akala, you go this way and you hit him in the nose and his nose turns pink. They didn't teach me like that. I had I was just around. I was annoying. I was fly on the wall. I was always there, so I would just, that's, whale rider?
Yeah.
Pike, bro, it was just like that.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like in the background, grab one stick from the bushes and go, ha, ha, ha. At first, it was like that. And then my dad started to implement me more into specific Lua things with weapons and how to grow the plants, to mature the plants, and then you get into like the wood carving stuff so you can make the weapons, And then he taught me, that was my dad's thing. My dad's thing wasn't necessarily hand to hand. He did have that in his back pocket, but his thing was weapons. And as far as the hand to hand stuff goes, I was a kako'o for a few of the classes on the Ke'aomoku Kapu, and when they had Kuya Holo and Paka Aikanaha came over under Jerry Walker and his sub Olohe that came along with him, and they taught that class to those men. I was just grabbing water bottles and freaking, being one dummy for the guys, and that's how I learned that way. And now that I'm old enough, I'm already fighting and all this stuff anyways, so I can just kind of translate and refer back to my dad, and I have a very, in a very fortunate position to where I can just like, not necessarily lean on my dad, but he's on Puna. I can just go and grab my cup and,
Yeah, that's super important.
That doesn't mean that like you can't go talk to my dad. Like he's a very open person. Just people get scared of the dirt bike tracks on his face and they don't ask him anything.
Oh, he has that kind of cacao?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nuts. So, you was talking a little bit about your dad, like, so he kalai la'au, like, meakawa? Yeah. Can I show you a couple that I made?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, bust it open.
Oh. Okay, yeah, so I made these in my Kalaila'au class at Windward Community College. So here's my Leo Mano.
Okay.
I got the design. I modeled it after a design I seen in one of the books. Like, you know how they documented like everything in Bishop Museum and they have like little diagrams of them. This wasn't like something I just like thought of. Although it is a sick design that I would like to take credit for. But yeah, it's replicated after someone else's. And then I made this pahoa out of a marlin bill.
That's an au, yeah.
Yeah. And then the handle is kamani.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that class is actually part of. Nah, it's not part of it. It is the reason why I pursued Hawaiian studies. Cause one day my kumu put a piece of wood in my hand. It was mehamehame, and he was like, "You see this piece of wood? It's kela, yeah?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, you're never gonna see it outside of this class." I was like, "Oh, why?" He's like, "Well,
Okay.
all the trees is pretty much they kind of reproduce, and yeah, this is it." So
That's heavy.
it's up to you as a Hawaiian to preserve all the stuff you guys get left. And I was like, oh.
I can kind of understand why they named it that. Meha, the lonely trees.
It's nuts though. It's one of the only wood that sinks.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to geek out over my
Yeah,
little.
bro, give away. I love that stuff. You know, I love it. I love it when people in our generation pick up old kuleana. That's rare. That's not a thing. Everybody like dance hula. Nobody like do the other stuff.
Yeah. I also made a pohaku ku'iai, but mine, everybody has this kind style.
I think I lost you.
Oh,
Muted.
my friggin' mic, my hand muted my mic. But yeah, I was saying everybody has this kind pohaku, but I made mine like the kawaii style, the ring.
Okay.
But yeah, super cool. It's nuts like how limited the amount of implements they had, but they still like made do with like that little amount of stuff. And like how like when they'd make something, they'd cherish it for like ever, cause like they just put so much like time and mana and everything in it. Like they would sleep on their fishing hooks, bro. Like just cause, you know, like, and I feel like we've totally like lost like that whole worldview in today's generation. Like it's pretty sad. Like you were saying earlier, bro, like America was so successful at colonizing Hawaii, bro. I say that all the time to my friends, bro. Like if there was any like textbook definition way like how to do it, bro, America to Hawaii, that's how to do it. Cause they literally
America
like made our grandparents shame to be Hawaiian, bro. Like my mom told me that her grandma could speak, but they'd only speak like in private, like to each other, so like nobody could understand. Like there was shame.
Yeah.
It's
Unsuccessful. America is the only superpower that's still involved in every place that they were in.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, why does America have so much military bases around the world, bro? Like, what country has a base in America?
The French in Tahiti are no longer there. Right? The British in Aotearoa are no longer there. Go to where else is there? The Germans in Samoa and Tonga, they're no longer there. Like every place that Haole went, they left. I'll even say white people, the Irish and the Scottish, they won their countries back. They pulled out. Yep. America is the only superpower that is still involved in every place that they took over. Puerto Rico, us.
Oh, like, every place they took. I didn't realize the gravity of what you said. Literally every place they took over still. Oh.
So yeah, they're good at what they do. You know, there's nothing wrong or right about it. It's just what it is. It depends on what side of the fence you're sitting on, right? Success has no morals.
I'm sitting on the fucking paw. Fuck the fence. So we were talking a little bit about Kalo earlier. So like what is your background with Kalo?
I mean, I was just raised on oh man, sorry. Give me a second. I just thought of 20 thoughts all at once and couldn't come out. I have an ancestor Her name was Lu'ukia. She and her family had this piece of land called Lakini. It's Kuleana land and wasn't owned by anybody. They were just there. Okay. When the Mahele came around, they started signing names to places. Aiha'a, her husband, his name was put on the property. And that's how we ended up engulfing all of that. My great grandmother put the pala down. She went down to the courthouse and she got everything signed, and that's how we secured that land. And my father, with all of his freaking dealing with, you gotta earn it, you don't want to be here. Taro Patch life wasn't the thing at that time because of what you were talking about with your grandmother. It's like, bro, what you doing here? Go get one job.
Go
money.
College.
Hawaiian stuff wasn't like priority.
Bro, tangent on that. So like, there's a problem in my Ahupua now that like all the farmers had to stop farming because like they started their farms to send their kids to college, but then their kids graduated and then they didn't want to take care of the farm. So like so much farms is gone now. But yeah, back to what you're saying. Sorry.
I mean, farming is hard for one. So why are you gonna broke your back for what when you can just, not throwing shade here, you can play games and make over $1,000 in 1 month. You know how many taro bags you gotta pull for make that? One taro bag, half the size of me. What? Maybe 180 pounds. No. Like 5 gallons of taro. That's about, when I was helping my dad at that time, was $120.
Yeah.
You know how many hours and itchies and bleeding you gotta do for get that? Yeah.
Not worth 120. Yeah, bro. Yeah. It honestly, yeah.
My dad was smart in a way to where he made it that he didn't have to depend on a Taro Patch. My dad was a fireman. He went to the military. He had roots and he could make his money that way.
Yeah.
All the taro money that he did was all vacation money. We would go, not vacation. We don't do that in my family, but like if we gotta go soccer fundraiser or do all kinds of games and stuff, that's where that money came from. He didn't depend on the aina for that. He made money with firefighting and he made mana with the aina. That's how he kept himself sane. That was my dad's like way that he decided to run that place, because when you have to do something for money, that's where the infection goes, right?
Yeah.
That's who you bend your back to. That's the real akua. That's who you bend your back to when you're working, is money.
Bro, it's so nuts. You know how, okay, so at UH, I did an interview with one of the newspaper editors over there, and then in doing that, he actually, like, he researched the UH archives and he found the interview of my great grandma that she did with, like, UH. And it was so crazy because, like, she was selling 10 pounds of poi, not even taro, 10 pounds of poi for $1. Bruh, like, I was like, oh my goodness, like, how was my grandma, like, she was not doing this to get rich, bro. She was literally doing this to just like live, like lifestyle wise. But I tripped, like 10 pounds for $1.
Yeah, that's wild.
Right, like,
yeah.
Bruh, you're like such a good storyteller. Would you be down to tell the audience like the story of Haloa?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Is Maui's version different than Oahu's? Nah.
Not that I know. Okay. I wanna know. I don't want to screw this one up because that's kind of important. Okay. So a lot of this you have to, like I said, compartmentalize your brain. Yeah. A lot of this was like spoken Hawaiian to written Hawaiian to English, right? Yeah. So you might have to give or take a few metaphors and a few words. Basically, for the, introductory Hawaiians out there, it starts out a little bit like this. You have Wakea, Sky Father. You have Apa Hanau Moku, Earth Mother. Nohopulawa Hanau Ia Oho Kukalani, the stars, the star daughter. And after that, they had all the islands and give and take some cheating here and there. Kolea flies over and tells Papa that he's screwing around and whatever. eventually, give or take some relationships and some islands being born, you have Hawaii, right? And somehow, some way, some cross, I wouldn't say that it was father-daughter. I don't think that that's the word that they're using for that. Father and daughter started playing around. That's when Haloa Naka was born, was a stillborn child. And they buried the child, and out came Haloa. And then they tried again. They had another son. His name was Haloa Nakalau Kapalili. And he was the first human. That's our Jesus. Come at me for that. But the body that was sacrificed for the betterment of the people. Everywhere that we go, everywhere that we look, Haloa is our root system of where we come from. Everybody, whatever Hawaiian you are, trace their lineage all the way back to Haloa, me included. I did it on my mom's side. We could figure it out that way. That's a little bit of a Pololu paraphrased version of it. It was really shitty.
No, that was my cut, you bro. That was super. You got all the main points, main characters. Yeah, it's so funny because I learned at UH that like everybody's familiar with Ni'aupio and but like it was like never instances of father-daughter Ni'aupio other than that Mo'olelo, bro. It's kind of it's nuts.
So I forget what doctor. I forgot her name. God, shame on me for forgetting her name. But she did a really good rendition on like these things. It was more of a. How do I get you to understand this? So every akua or kupua or like kind of esoteric being that
like follow, cosmogonic, like
we attach people to them. No different from religion.
Yeah.
You know, if you think of God in Christianity, you think of one haole guy, one big bushy beard.
Yeah.
If we don't have that image in our head, we start losing our minds. It needs to make sense. There needs to be a person. You know, now everybody thinks it's a woman, or they have somebody that they attach to, right? Like Maui.
Yeah.
Moana.
Exactly.
Guy.
Or even like
40 billion different Mauis.
Bro.
There's not one Maui. So for all these akua, there's all of these different forms, right? And so we attach humans to them, so it makes sense in our brains. Wakea is the sky, right? And Papa is the mother.
Yeah.
Maybe there were humans at that point, but that doesn't necessarily make them father-daughter. Look at a picture of Mauna Kea. Right? Sky, mountain, earth. Sky and earth come together and then come up. What comes up? You look up at night, all the stars is everywhere. And so for that to make sense and give it life, we give them names. We never have pictures. We never have Instagram. So at that time, that's how we told the story. And then 2,000 years later, we get all of these renditions of like Herb Kane's paintings, and it keeps us okay. It helps us not losing our mind. So with the whole incest thing, and I also have a theory on incest. I don't know if you want to get into that.
Maybe Bombay, but hopping on that Maui tangent, bro, like you said, there's so many Mauis like all throughout the Pacific, but every time there was like somebody like, that name was held in such high regard, and the person that like lived up to that, like, I just think it's cool that like there were actual people, because in Ikawakahiko, like you earned your name like sometimes after you were born, like through
literally the only thing to earn it.
Yeah, literally.
They're not gonna name you something, and then you don't do that thing. Imagine my name's a little bit ironic. I can explain to you the story, right? Okay. How you gonna name somebody Pololu that's 16 foot long and I'm a flyweight? I'm 5 foot, I'm like 4'11". How you gonna do that? He has to earn that name. So okay, let me save myself from that real quick, that irony. I could have picked a different example. Pololu is the valley on Hawaii Island. My family comes from there. That's why I was named after that place, was to Ho'omana mai ohana. Now, the valley was named after Pololu was because that's where Kamehameha trained his Pololu infantry when he was running around from Alapa'i.
That was like his green beret.
Yeah. That's why that valley is named that. I'm not named after the weapon, so that irony doesn't apply to me, okay? But how you gonna name somebody like, I don't know, El Polohiva Kanaloa, he turns out into a Pua Pua Lena Lena. You know what I mean? Like, you can't control that. You can't control what the person becomes. It becomes contradictory. So that's why Kamehameha had 17 different names.
Yeah,
he was Paia. He was, all of Kamaia Puni, all of these different names. The Papai, Holopali, or whatever his name was. There's all of these different instances in these different lives. And that's why the names were this long. Because they were
stories like commemorating what they did, bro. Like they were freaking achievement. You know how you play games, you get the achievement unlock when you do something hammer. That was like literally their achievement unlocked. It was their Inoa, bro. Like that holds so much mana.
Yeah.
Bro, it's so nuts too. Like I was like I had to research a bunch of the Ali'i like pre-Kamehameha for my genealogy class, and bro, Kahekili is a hammer, bro. Like he pretty much laid the groundwork for Kamehameha to like just come in and take everything. But like, oh, bruh, he's a hammer. Like Maui, he literally like slaughtered out like all of the Oahu lineages on like some pettiness. Like, well, okay, you gonna do that to my ancestor a long time ago? Okay, Raja, I'm coming back full force. You guys getting wiped out. You guys are having no freaking pua after this ever.
Yeah. Well, in Ruling Chiefs, I forget what chapter it was, but they do talk about how Kamehameha waited to die.
Bro, but did they talk about that mental warfare Kahekili did when Kamehameha sent his messenger and like he didn't even choose a stone, but he sent the messenger back and like told Kamehameha like, yeah, by the way, I'm your freaking dad.
Yeah, that was the thing, in respect for his dad. Now, it isn't documented. You know, other Hawaiians can come after me.
Aye.
And this is a Mo'olelo Ohana.
Oh, bro, those are like I love Mo'olelo Ohana because like who are we to say that's not true?
Exactly. So maybe true, maybe not, but this is what was told to me. This story gets carried through the Konohia Ohana. Come from Hamakua Poku on Maui. That's their Ahupua. And this is what Hau'oli Konohia told me. During Kamehameha's reign, when he was kicking everybody's ass and taking everybody's names and everybody's land and everybody's girls, right? He was gonna put a siege on, I want to say at that time it was Maui, and he told him no, and he said why, and he said you don't see whatever. So he was like in like his war camp or whatever, and somehow, some way, Kahekili, when he was in his prime, decided to jump the mountains, on the bridges, up the trees, and behind the back end, put in the secret code to the back door, and he went into Kamehameha's living quarters, took his hood off, and he went, hey, he goes, oh, dad? Nah, not dad, but you know.
Yeah, like you.
And he just whatever weapon he had at the time, I assume, and he's like, hey, just letting you know, could if I wanted to. Just wait, you can get him, but just wait. And he left. And that was another story of why he waited till Kahekili died. Not that, like how you said, when Kahekili was in power, he had everything. So he could have everything taken away, right? So when he died, Kalani Kupule was in charge. And it's like, okay, I'm going to whack my cousin now. And he made it that much easier.
Bro, I think it's so nuts how like Kamehameha had to fight his cousin after who died on Big Island?
This is Hawaiian Game of Thrones, bro.
Bro, I couldn't. Okay, so like I grew up with my cousin. Like he's literally like my brother, bro. Like I could not imagine scrapping him for ownership of my farm, bro. Like, yeah, that would be ridiculous.
That's because fighting isn't a thing anymore.
Nah, and they knew that death. They knew that death wasn't the end, bro.
Exactly. So that's no big deal.
Yeah.
Death and murder was freaking nothing, you know. Yeah. And that's because colonization at its best again, you know, because we have this I want to say infection.
Whitewash. No, we're whitewashed.
For this place in time, there's no space for combat and murder.
Oh, of course.
We've all agreed.
I'm not advocating for that. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I'm not advocating for it, but I'm not saying to go kill everybody. But if somebody says that there wasn't a reason, I'm not gonna say that there wasn't a reason. Somebody always has a reason. You know? So I mean, it worked for them at that place and time. And that concept of like killing people is wrong wasn't a thing back then. So that's why they would do that.
That's why, like, you step on a li'i shadow, you're like, okay, transition, hala oi, your paw.
Yeah, yeah, and that goes into case by case basis too, right?
Yeah,
Hawaiians writing, Howley's listening to Hawaiians.
Yeah, trying to make us look bad. And bro, that's one thing that I hate is like so many people learn about Hawaii not from a Hawaiian. It's like, why are you getting your why are you taking their mana'o over like, Ike
don't know
Hawaii, bro, it's so ridiculous. Go on YouTube, just YouTube any video about Hawaii and look like who makes it.
Yeah.
No Hawaiians, I'll tell you that.
You would think it's obvious, right?
Bro.
Like if I'm gonna go learn Mexican, I'm gonna go learn from a Mexican.
It's like, let my people tell our stories. Why the frick you guys gotta freaking tell everybody's story for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, hella. Anyway, bro, honestly, like, this is probably one of my favorite pods just because, like, it's tied so much to, like, Ike Hawaii, and, like, I'm straight up geeking out about this shit, bro. Like,
everything we do, bro, we gotta hold Kanaka somehow. Otherwise, they win.
bro, like, I'm straight, like, in a Olelo Hawaii class right now, and, like, last semester, I straight failed this class, bro, and it literally, like, diminished my fucking, like, motivation to even continue with, like, getting my bachelor's, because, like, I gotta pass this class if I want my bachelor's, but I failed, so I was literally contemplating dropping out, bro. And then I took this summer school course with this new kumu, and he literally, like, fucking all of my desire to even want to learn, bro. Like, he straight made it a point, like, it's important for Hawaiians to be speaking Hawaiian in Hawaii, bro. Like, we look dumb compared to all the other Polynesians. Like, go Tonga, what are they speaking? Not Tongan.
Yeah.
Bro, like, it's crazy, like, how disconnected we are as a people. And then going back to that person commenting that on your post, like, well, only 30 people can understand what you're saying. It's like, bro, like, who are you trying to shame with that? Like,
congratulations, you played yourself. Like,
yeah, like, straight up. It's like, bro, like, you're you're bashing on a Kanaka for Olelo Hawaii. Like, bro, that's our mother tongue. Like, what are you even?
Yeah, I mean, I used to get really angry about it, but now I just have fun with it because, like, I'm so, like, secure, you know, about my Kanaka-ness and who I am, because everybody gonna die.
Bro, yeah.
You know? It's competing with everybody and trying to compare yourself to other human beings. You're gonna die before or after you. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So as long as I'm good with myself and I answer to my akua and my circle, then that's all that matters. If you're not signing my check, you're not giving me clothes, you're not feeding my belly, you're not making me come, fuck you. Like, you don't matter. Your opinion does not matter to me.
Bro,
you contribute nothing to my life. I love internet trolls. It's my favorite. I'm 6-1 as a pro in the cage. I'm the undisputed keyboard champion of the fucking world, bro. Nobody can fucking step to this. I'm undefeated, right? And I invite anybody to try. I can't even read the comments right now. I don't know how to navigate that, but
classic.
Sure. Anyways,
fucking oh shit! I just had a fat ass brain fart. Okay, we're talking about halua. Like, do you have any olelo no eao that you like try to live by, or like any favorite ones?
I don't know about anything in the book, but something that was taught to me in my family is two things: is hanamua pa'ani mahope. Handle business first, then you can play. Right? Second one was ai kamea iloa'a. Don't complain about stuff that you know more. Look what you get. Work with that. No one's entitled to anything. From your very first breath, nothing is yours. You are afforded the opportunity to work for it and earn it. That's my olelo no ea.
Oh, I love those, bro. That is killer. Straight up. How do you manage energy between fights? Like, do you? I know you saying you go back home every so often, but like, how often do you, or like how many times do you try to fight a year, and like how often are you like training during that?
So this past year was kind of tricky for me because I have a pretty chronic condition, an injury that I worked through, and this maybe about a year and a half ago it was really bad. So I had to it took me about a month to learn how to walk again.
Oh.
And yeah, and then I had to do all kinds of rehab and
bro, rehab is nuts.
And then right when I figured that one out, I ended up tearing my shoulder or my labrum, so that took me out for a little bit more, and I fought with it and I had no idea. So it typically a dream in every especially in the stage of my career now, I would love to fight 5 times a year. You know, as I'm better mentally as the more active I am, but just my body doesn't necessarily keep up with the plan, you know. So I fought once last year. I just fought this year. I'm hoping to fight again end of August, maybe late September. That would be good. Depending on my manager and who he calls. But well, typically what I've been starting, I tried to do twice a year when I was going home back and forth, at least twice a year. Then it became a thing to where after every fight, so I can put all my mana, put it into the camp, and then I go recharge. That's what I've been doing. And now that I may or may not be having certain opportunities with my fighting, that fight purse basically pays for my ticket home, that kind of a thing. And so I use that to build my batteries or and whatever, but it's also to feel human again. You go through the rituals that I have to perform to be able to, before I go kawa or whatever. It takes you out of your own body. It's an out of body experience to me. I empty my vessel and I allow the aqua to sit in there and use me as an instrument. And when you come back, like turning to the Aumalama and to be Noah, it's a process, like to become human again. You get to feel all your emotions and satiate your needs, like all of your food stuff with the weight cut and just like, reinvigorating your relationships. Like that's all different to like switch your mind in. Like I said, it's Lua. That's why a lot of the warriors and whatever, they live a pretty isolated lifestyle. People don't think like us. People don't talk like us. People don't work like us. There's a different mindset that goes into this. So going home and disconnecting myself from this kind of allows me to like recuperate who I am as a human being and as an individual rather than just like a fighter. So that has been helping a lot. It keeps my brain and my sanity like really clear.
Solid. Are there any qualities that you can recognize that like can basically like translate over from being a good fighter to being like a good kanaka malama aina, or just like, yeah, similar qualities between those two fields?
I would say discipline for one. I don't care how bad you feel. If your girlfriend was mean to you that day, or if you're feeling kind of sicky and icky, your opponent's always training. Your opponent is always working. And the sun is always going to come up the next day. And it's always going to rain. It's always going to happen. There's always going to be something to do around the farm. You got to bite down. Nobody cares about how you feel. The farm is still going to have chores. The grass is still going to grow. Your opponent is always learning and getting better. There's always something to do in the gym. There is always something to do on the farm.
Solid.
It's consistency and discipline.
What are like the biggest challenges you face as a fighter?
Oof. Oof. That's a loaded question. There's all kinds of. How did I? I guess the biggest challenge I have is adversity. I'm gonna say that. I wasn't an NCAA wrestler. I wasn't a IBJJF jiu-jitsu player. I wasn't a Golden Glove boxer. I was the shittiest, worst, most least talented kid in every gym that I've ever been in. But I bust my ass. Kill myself every day. I was the hardest worker in the room on my come up, and I got average. I'm always going up against somebody better than me. I'm always going up against somebody that's more skilled than me and naturally talented to me. And you see it as a challenge, but also the biggest benefit. Because if you use it to winning all the time and being good at everything, it's happened on national television. Guys fall apart when they start losing. All of a sudden, the fight in their way. To me, that's what being a fighter is about, right? Not knocking the guys out in 3 seconds or choking them out in the first minute. Like, that's one thing. Yeah, you're good at what you do. To me, a true fighter is battling adversity. Real champion to me, real fighter to me, is when you're getting the shit kicked out of you and your face is getting plastered, you're bleeding from your nose, your arm is torn, your legs is broken, whatever. You find a way around it and you end up on top. I've been in those positions. And me, that's what makes me more secure in my wailua, my inner spirit, and my ike, and all of these things make me a better fighter. It's not about me getting better than my opponent. That just happens to be a plus. I'm a better person every day because of the adversity that I have to overcome.
I like that. If not fighting, then what career would you be pursuing?
Be Sam Choi, 300 pounds at 5'4". I love food so much. I would open one restaurant. I'd become one. I would instead of rice, I would use kalo, ulu, and uwala. I'd be making all of these different things. I just want to implement Hawaiian stuff into modern things. That's just my. I'm such a real freaking hard on for that shit. I love innovating Hawaiian stuff into things that we do. It's just like it's kind of late for that now. Like for me to go to culinary school and all that. I can eat. I can eat. I can tell you that. But I guess like the basis, like I said, is like my father. I have my associate's degree in fire department. So and especially going back to Maui and going back to Hawaii and living, yeah, everything is expensive. Like it's you can't necessarily do what you love and succeed financially 100%. That's not something that you can do all the time. I'm not saying that's never a thing, but for majority of the people out there, I want to be an artist. It's a grind, and for me, the danger in that, in depending on your passion for financial success, it's end up hating it when you have to do it. That was one of the smarter things that my dad did when it came to the farm. He didn't have to depend on the Taro Patch because then you end up hating the shit. Oh, I hate Monday. I gotta drag my ass to the Taro Patch and cut this grass. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. If you have to go to the fire station and save lives and build up your mana that way, that's cool, right? Like, and you also have a day of work, day of rest, day of work, day of rest, and you get the 4 days off. Makes it a lot easier to go to work. And then on your days off, you look forward to driving around Kaumahina, and you go over to Pali, and you see Keanai sticking out with the sun coming up at 7:30 in the morning. And you look forward to those days when you're under the tin roof and you hear the hitting of the rain and you smell the grass that you just been cut 1 hour ago. And even to those days when you're pulling taro and you gotta make one quota for aloha poi and your ass is itchy, the bugs is crawling all over you, you're scratching till you bleeding and you're scratching and the thing no go away and water no help and all the fiber, yeah. Those days make it worth it if you don't have to depend on it. So something that I want to do when I'm said and done, the Akua is gonna tell me when to hang my gloves up. I want to incorporate lua again. When people think about Hawaiian men, they think about Anikapila guys. They think about the dancers. They think about big guys with happy smiles and aloha shirts. Shit. But I want to be able to resurrect the image of a warrior again and it not be a painting. It's a picture. It's an innovative 21st century thing that we can refer to guys like Max Holloway, Brad Tavares, BJ Penn, but like Kanaka, there's all of these different forms of Hawaii out there, and I want the koa, the olohe, the lua to be one of them again. That the real Hawaiian man, not these drug pushing, wife beating, scrub boyfriend, cannot cook eggs and hash browns for breakfast, scrubs. That's not what Hawaiian men is for. Oppressing women was not a Hawaiian tradition. We was in the kitchens. We was cooking and cleaning. We was taking care of everybody. Babe, you on your rag? Go take 1 week off. Go relax with the girls. I got the house. I'ma hold it down. That's what real Hawaiian is. Not one of these scrubs telling your girl to go beat it and let the boys be boys and make me one sandwich. That's not what that's about. That's what I want to promote after. That's what I would do if I'm not a fighter, is to promote more Hawaiian men like that. Hawaii needs more Hawaiian men, not whatever the fuck is going on today. Thank you, America.
Yeah.
You guys taught us.
Mic drop. Have you ever took something that you learned from fighting and applied it back to farming, or vice versa?
One of the cookie steps I do. There's a meridian. This is Meahuna, right? So there's a nerve here. If you watch my fight, that I fought in 2019, his name is Thomas Matias. I have him up against the fence, and this is like some Karate Kid shit, bro. Like, like wax on, wax off kind of stuff. You step with your heel, and if you hit the spot just right, you can knock somebody out with that. It's not 100% guaranteed. It's very rare, but it does happen. If you watch the fight, and I step on his foot with my heel, you can see him go limp a little bit. Not necessarily knock out, but it's like an electric shock. It hits a nerve and you go, ooh, and you lose control of your body for like just like a millisecond. It shoots a pain receptor to your brain. Think about it, right? And that's when his body melted and I went for the takedown. I do the same thing and I pull Taro. You go in between the pu'u and you go at your heel and the lie of your foot and the ridge, and you step down on the roots and you break the roots apart. You don't step on a Taro to push them down.
Yeah.
Guys that use OO, they don't know how to step. That's why. And that actually goes into a lot of things. Guys use OO in the lo'i, in the wetland, because they never chemo, so the mud is all hard, and the plants is not oxidizing, so it's clay, right? And then there's the layer of water that comes up.
Yeah.
Guys don't till their soil. Guys don't chemo, so all the thing is pa, so they gotta use OO. Anyway, if you cycle the water through, you let it fill in, and you let it fill out, and the sun hits it, and it does all of these magical stuff that we're supposed to do that we knew how to do already, and you would know how for step. And that's what I implement. Yeah.
Hey. I meant.
Yeah. So the kui step is one of the things that translates really well. And then of course the naha. You know the naha. That's the first strike on the board when you're pounding. It's not the hit. It's not the kui. It's the naha is when you have the kalo, right? And you smash it on the board. You squish it. You mush it. Because if you're on Peace Taro and you hit them like that,
boink,
and it's wet, it's going on. You know what I'm talking about. You are part of the Pounders Union. You pound point. You know what I'm talking about. So you get the kalo, you put them on the board, and you smash them. That strike under Uncle Irokova'a is called naha. So I've done that. When you're sitting on somebody and he's shelled up like this, and you just kind of tap him, and he'll kind of like, that opens up the kui. Now you can start smashing. You don't just start smashing when he's guarded like this, because you're only going to hit his hands. So you kind of hit him a little bit, and then he opens up, and then, now you can make poi. Now we make it poi. So that's another one. That's another good one. I've translated farming and fighting together.
Bro, those are solid ones, straight up. And shout out to Uncle Earl Kava'a.
Yeah.
He's
brother Daniel Anthony, the real poi pounder. That's the poi pounder of all poi pounders, bro. Daniel Anthony is the man. He kind of took me to school on that papa the last time I went to go see him when he opened his place up to me.
Mana I?
Too big.
So I heard you kind of was talking about your dad a lot. Would you say that that's one of the most influential people in your life? And if not, would you like to name them?
Well, both my parents are equally as influential in my life. My mother taught me how to chant. She taught me how to read and write English. She taught me how to orate and how I speak. She taught me how to use that part. My mom is a master quiltist. She does all kind of Hawaiian quilts. She make lace. She do all that stuff. She taught my sister hula before she joined the halal. And they were both influential in my life just as much. My dad just taught me how to be a Hawaiian man. That's why I speak on him like that. But as a human being,
because that's what you are.
My mother and my father, they're both just as influential as the other. My father was at the fire station. You know who was at home when he was at the fire station for 24 hours off and on all year long? My mom. She raised me and my sister just as influentially as my father did. They might have implemented in different areas, but the people that I look to is my aina, and implementing this word. Samoa, they say aina for family. America took out the word aina and they implemented ohana to be able to sell it. Everybody thinks it comes from ohana, right? Yeah. That is a term. I'm not saying that doesn't mean family. It is a correct term, but we erase the aina.
Is like those you feed.
Yes, the I, what you eat, it's exactly what you said. It's what you feed.
Yeah.
And that's who I look to. I don't really have any influential heroes. Don't meet your heroes. I met a bunch of them. I'm not gonna name names, but I was really disappointed with a lot of them. And so, like I said,
Hoi, you say that because I feel like in Hawaii, especially in like this space, I'm not trying to throw shade or anything, but I do notice like I feel like people bigger than you don't really want you to like pop off. I guess.
Certain
certain ones, because bro, like I am so
who you
great.
think they are.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say.
You gotta understand that what they did that influenced you to be who you are is one part of their life. There's a side of me that's not on camera that somebody really wouldn't like.
Yeah.
But I'm a unique person. Like for me, in a sense where it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. It's a double-edged sword because what you give is what you get, and sometimes what you get isn't what you like.
Yeah, for real, bro.
You know, and I look to my tutu lady because I knew her. You know, I had a relationship with her. I got to learn from her. I got to watch her. I look to my papa. I look to my nana. I look to my mom. I look to my sister. You know, they all had. I'm the baby of my family, right?
Hey, me too.
They all had a part. They all had a part in raising me to who I am, and I owe all of that to them. In my family, Nakanelua, Ohana always first over everything. I know always. You know?
I like how you do the G sound for the end for like someone. No, they do that. That's how they pronounce ends, is with that G flair. I like it a lot because my friend's daughter, her name is Mangaya, but she doesn't like saying that. She likes saying her name is Manaya, and I'm like, bah, say her name right. Don't be. That's not what you was named, bro. You're not Manaya. You're Mangaya.
Yeah.
Don't let that whitewash make you shame of your name. The heck.
That's what they always told us growing up.
So, are you familiar with the term Me'e Hawaii?
Like hero?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it a few times, but I mean,
like I was just gonna ask, like, who is like one of your favorite Me'e Hawaii growing up? Like whether it be from like a storybook like Maui, or whether it be like actual Kanaka like George Helm, or like.
Ooh, that's a pretty good question. I guess it depends from what era.
It could be from like growing up, or just like as of now, someone you still hold.
Maui was a good one. I liked Maui because he was a rascal. I liked that fact that he just because I feel like emulate a lot of his characteristics for sure. He means well. His intentions are great, but he can still have fun. Yeah, you don't gotta be one stonehead all the time. He emulates the fact that there's a time and place for pleasure, and I have a deep appreciation for that because I work really hard a lot, and it's good to kind of let that go and decompress every once in a while. Sometimes it's just funny.
Bro, like even in a lot of other mo'olelos, like the main characters. What was that?
I take all that back. Just kidding. I love Maui, but brah, Pi'i Mai Va'a is my guy.
Oh.
That is Umi's adoptive son. And he was the hammer for everything. Pi'i Mai Va'a was the duct tape for every problem Umi had.
Umi, my Big Island, or?
I want to say it was Umi. Was it? Was it Kia? Was it Umi? I have my notes in here somewhere, but I want to say it was Umi's adoptive son, but that was just his friend that he took care of. Yeah, Umi Aliloa. Yep. It was Umi's adopted son, Pi'i Mai Va'a. Anytime he had one issue, Pi'i Mai Va'a would go get the things that he needed to build the weapon. If had one crew of guys and it was getting their ass kicked, Pi'i Mai Va'a would kill him. He is my favorite character in real life of Hawaiian history of all time. Look him up in Ruling Chiefs. Pi'i Mai Va'a. That is the guy, my guy.
Okay.
That's my.
Do you can you share any like mo'olelo about him that you know?
Well, I mean, he was, like I said, if you read one of the first chapters of Umi Aliloa, it's about Umi.
Yeah.
And it shows how he became the Aimoku of Hawaii Island at that time when he took it from his brother. What is his name? Was it Lono?
Kiabe. Wait, was Kiabe? That was Umi's son.
Kiabe was Umi's son. Both had the same story. But forget who Umi's brother was. He was fighting for his brother for the crown when Liloa died. I have it in my notes downstairs. But anyways, Umi was the bastard child, the Lepo Popolo. His dad would go screw around on his. I mean, not screw around because marriage wasn't like that at that time. Anyways, he had a lower child.
Yeah, the second.
Yeah, he gave his mahi'ole, his ahu'ula, and his lei palawa to the woman, and he said,
Yeah.
when my son comes, he just starts asking questions, tell him come look for me. And so he did. And on his journey, he runs into this street kid. P. Maiva was the first one.
Yeah, yeah, and he adopts him. Yeah.
Yeah, adopts him.
Yeah,
Hanai.
yeah.
That was the word hanai.
Yeah.
When you're writing
But
something
hanai
down,
means to feed, so he could have just been like giving him food.
it's brought up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so anyways, Maiva is in a lot of those stories where like they go through war together, they go on journeys together, and P. Maiva is always the answer. There was this one story where they were fighting in Hana, and I forget the name of the chief that they was fighting at that time. This is when he was helping Umi's son, Kiha. And Kiha was trying to take back the throne from Lono, a Pi'ilani. They were fighting for Pi'ilani's reign. And Keave, coming from Umi, and they're related in that respect, took Umi's men over, and Pi'i Maiva'a jumped in on the support gang, the second fleet. They docked in Wailua. And when they went around to Hana to go take that mountain, they had something Makua. What was his name? I forget. But Hadouan chief that was in charge of Hana at that time. And they made a dummy, like a fake person at night to stand watch, and it looks like a huge person. And so they kept throwing rocks at it and throwing ma'os at it, and the guy kept standing like, oh, this guy's on hammer, he's not going down. And the sun would come up, and then Hana would hold it down, and nobody could freaking like take over, right? And then when they slept, Pi'i Maiva'a and Pi'i the Pali, and he figured out it was a freaking dummy, so he threw it off the cliff, and then he killed everybody, kicked everybody's ass, piles and piles on bodies, and I just always appreciated how dependable Pi'i Maiva'a was. Like, oh, of course he pops up again. And he pops up in another chapter. Like, he's just always around, solving everybody's problem, wiping everybody's ass, and not getting any other credit. And I just appreciate that. Nobody listens to him until it's his, like everybody else's plan goes to shit. And I just really have a deep appreciation for that guy. So that's my me'e, is Pi'i Maiva'a.
I like that. I like that it's not like a freaking cliche one, you know? So
yeah,
that's super killer. So going back into fighting, like what was one of the most memorable fights you had, and like why was it memorable for you?
Ooh. Prestige wise would have to be my pro debut. Only because I fought this guy. His name was Joy von Blankenberg. This guy, he was training out of Gracie Technics at the time. I fought him before. And I was going through all kinds of stuff. I missed weight because I had staph in my foot. I had to go be on antibiotics, and I was all like screwed up like that. And I wasn't feeling like on. And in the amateur fight, I threw a sloppy leg kick, and he came right down the middle with a right hand. Boom, put my lights out, sat me down. And in the panic, I'm like, oh, discombobulated, right? And I go into for I panic double leg. That's an amateur move. And he sunk in the gilly, and he's choking me. My legs are freaking flopping in the air. It's on YouTube too. You can watch that fight. It's on YouTube. And I'm not tapping. I'm a freaking hammer. I don't give a shit about that. You have to kill me. And he did. I went out. I was sleeping, you know? Next thing I know, I'm thinking I'm naked. I don't know where my pants is. There's people all over me. Like I was out, right? Fast forward maybe a year later, a year and a half maybe, pro debut. And I got matched up to rematch him again on Destiny. And give me a second. I gotta plug my laptop in. I'm about to die. Hold on. Here. So I ended up getting matched up to fight him again, and I ended up beating him. So it was I didn't finish him. I got a split decision, and you know, hometown advantage, right? So I got a split decision, and I ended up beating the guy that put me to sleep on my first fight ever. I had all my friends. I had my dad was there. I had a lot of friends from Oahu that were there, and I partied all night long, staying in a $800 hotel room that I got sponsored for. I was freaking living my best life that night. I felt like the king of Hawaii in that night, and that probably meant more to me because I got to recover from a loss. But I got to prove to myself that like, oh, I'm pro now. Like I think I can do this thing. You know, all my amateur stuff, I was 8-4 as an amateur, and I was doing that route for a while. And, you know, that's just kind of practice. Like, it's just to kind of let you see if this is something that you want to pursue. And my debut was like my first true test, you know? So that's what the most memorable one for me.
Solid. So you lost your last amateur one?
I don't know. I had a couple of fights between Joey and that fight.
Oh, okay. So you bounced back then after that loss. Oh, solid, bro. And you got the freaking Izzy moment.
Kind of, like not to the same prestige, but I didn't get to finish. But he's a good guy too. Like he's a really nice guy, really really skilled fighter. But it just that night was my night.
Yeah. The fight with Thomas was pro?
Yeah, that was my second pro fight.
Okay.
I was so scared.
I mean, bro, how does that whole process work? Like, going from like getting an opponent to like choosing to walk out to like, cause butterflies before a fight is no joke.
Oh, I am the worst, bruh. I am the worst head case before a fight. This past one wasn't as bad, but the one right before that, holy shit, my bro. Like, okay. So this guy I was fighting, his name's Keanu. I'll walk you through how my brain works, right? Keanu Moyer. I'm like, oh, Keanu, he's a Hawaiian. This guy, he spells it Keaneo. Keaneo. That's one fake ass Hawaiian. His mother probably went on vacation in 1990 and fell in love with the security guard.
Wait, how does he spell it?
Keaneo. Keaneo. But he says Keanu. I don't know. I'm saying his mom went to Hawaii in the 90s and fell in love with the security guard at Mai Tais and went, what's your name? Oh, it's Keanu. I'm going to name my son after you. Was all jag, wrote it down on one napkin, all kapakahi, and then would name her son the wrong name. That's what I think happened.
No, guarantee, bro.
I'm gonna beat this fake ass Hawaiian. I'm Hawaiian as fuck, like, oh, what if I'm this Hawaiian and then this fake Hawaiian beats me and now I'm like, oh, no, Dad, look at his record. He's 3-3. All the guys that he beat, they suck. This guy's got a padded record. He's got nothing to do with the best. I get fight with the best in the world every day. So what if he's that bad? And then I lose to him. That means I'm worse than him. So I'm going back and forth like this, right? The whole time. I go through that every single fight. I don't know where that came from, but it is I will never lie about that. I'm always nervous. I'm always anxious. I'm always excited. I'm always cocky. I'm always scared. I'm all of that just on steroids, and it's a bad time up here. You don't want to be in my head during a fight camp. It's the worst.
Your last one when you was oling before your fight, that was pretty hammer.
Up until you call my name, that's when it goes away. Reason why I do ha'a is to get rid of myself as let me kind of break that down. So haka across, the aumoana.
Aye.
It's a shelf. You become a medium.
Oh, okay.
We have what we call, how they have the pukana in Aotearoa?
Aye.
Yeah, and before battle in Samoa, they do the fa'aunu. They let everybody know that some big dick is coming and I'm taking your shit. In Hawaii, we have what you call lua'i. That is to regurgitate, to vomit. If you look at the dictionary, it also means to ward off people.
Yeah.
Right? So, also, when you do the aiha'a, you're lower to the ground and you're more centered. Not necessarily to the floor, but to the aina, to the everything that's not human, right? So when you expel your wailua, you're not a human anymore. You become a haka. Become a medium. So the spirit that you call upon, whatever spirit that was, this time around, I called on Kihanui Lulumoku, my family ancestor, the shaker of the earthquakes and the tectonic plates. I called on Kukailimoku, the land snatcher, going to a foreign place to, bring that back to us. That's who I called on. That's who entered my body. So all my nervousness, I'm in love, I'm scared, I'm mad, I'm angry, all of that comes out. When you ha'a, when you haka, when you aiha'a, all of that human characteristics comes out. Now I'm just the vessel. That's what you saw when I walked in there. That wasn't me in there. It just flips a switch. That's what the power of this stuff does. Real dangerous. You gotta watch which akua you freaking call on.
Yeah. Bro, that's hammer.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That's that. And how my mental space is for fights. It's all over the place.
So you grew up speaking Olelo Hawaii, your first language. Like, would you get, or what are the best tips or pointers you could give to somebody like myself that is like still learning and yeah, just on my growth journey?
I'm speaking out of pocket and out of place, speaking to you because it was easier for me to learn because I was so young and my brain was a sponge, so I was always getting it from all kind of angles, in my mouth, in my ears, up my ass, everywhere. Hawaiian was everything. But I never had to decompartmentalize my mind. I did it backwards. Like I learned English after my mom taught me English after Hawaiian immersion, right? So I didn't have to like turn that switch on and off. Like I had to I mean I had to switch on and off, but I never had to like create my own switch. So for you, I know that it's difficult. My dad taught himself, you know, and he learned through books and he learned through my grandmother and speaking to us as kids because we were baby talking, yeah.
Mm.
So because my dad was learning baby talk and talking to his babies, it was easier for him to learn with us. That's kind of how that worked out. But for you as an adult, I would say you would have to do it the same thing. The only challenge that you would have is to decompartmentalize your mind and erase that part of you when you're learning about Hawaiian stuff. If something doesn't make sense to you, instead of comparing it to the other, like, oh, that's not like this, forget this. Just saying this is hard and stick with this, you know? And I would just pour every Kanaka possible resource in there. Like, listen to Hawaiian music. Listen to the old Hawaiian records where the kupuna are talking in Manaleo.
Ay,
And just-
Manaleo.
Maybe when you hit your foot on the coffee table when you're taking a piss at 3 o'clock in the morning, instead of saying ah shit, just say awi.
Bro,
little things
no,
like-
that's so funny you say that because my girlfriend, like, I was doing this subconsciously, but like, my girlfriend was like asking me yes or no questions while I was taking a shower, and I was like responding with "I," and she was like, "What?" I was like, "Oh shit, sorry, babe."
You know, instead of okole maluna or salud, we say
Hola. Oh,
amo is a literal cheers. That's what we
hamo?
say. Amo.
Hamo, hoi hoi.
Get up. K-A kahako M-A.
Oh, kamo. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
So there's that. Just little things, you know. Maybe instead of eating 3 scoops of rice and mac salad, put one lump of poi on your plate. Maybe go buy uala. Like, oh, Pololu it's easy because nobody get Taro Patches. Right, if you know you get access, bro. Go make one friend, make mana, go Sweet Brother's Garage and he give you one bag poi. I don't know, but there's a will, there's a way. There's always gonna be a reason not to do something. There's never gonna not be a reason to do it instead. You know what I mean? You just gotta. It's important if you make it important, and to some people, it's just not that important. That's fine. Always gonna get Hawaiians doing Hawaiian things. You don't need to be one of those. We get plenty on our side, bro. It's plenty for take your place. If this isn't for you, we're not gonna ostracize you for it. At least that's not where I'm at anymore. If you'd rather sag your pants with a Gucci belt wrapped around your ass and rep gang signs or whatever, that's on you, bro. Like, that's cool. I'll let that go already. Like, there's different Hawaiians for different things, and when you're ready, come around. We're more than welcome to get plenty weeds for pool, get plenty grass for cut, bro. Always gonna get something for do on the farm. Come around when you're ready.
Ew.
That's how,
So what is like your main goal that you want to accomplish through fighting? Like, are you trying to make it to the UFC? Are you trying to become a champ in one of the other promotions? Like, how far are you trying to go with this? And then what do you want to accomplish with it?
every accomplishment fight related to me specifically is just icing on the cake. My purpose in the cage, yeah, I'm not the best at fighting. Fighting is the best thing that I do. Okay? So the reason why I'm here is to bring Kanaka stuff. I am the haka of Lahui in this route, in this kaha that I'm in. I'm going to take it as high as I can. If it happens to be UFC, bottom 15 even, just getting my foot through the door and I don't do well, that is the highest I can go, then I'll be okay with that. If I end up being in Bellator, 1FC, PFL, anybody that wants to pick me up, then Hawaiians can look at these things in the most modern times possible. Get one Kanaka in there. Get one, like how I saw Rude Boy in 2008, Troy Mandalones dancing with his flowers on his legs, doing this kind of army action. Somebody's going to see a Mahi Ole. Somebody's gonna see a model at the weigh-in. Somebody's gonna see and hear Hawaiian, you know, somebody's gonna hear Olelo Hawaii and recognize it as Olelo Hawaii. I am the only person in the history of ever that has ever uttered Olelo Hawaii in an octagon. If I end up taking it to the UFC, that'll be more history making. This high right here that I fly, that's the royal insignia, right? This high was the one that they put in every vessel
Of the
whether it be a car, whether it be the palace, whether it be a boat. They hung that flag high when had the Aupuni of Hawaii, the Mo'i Hawaii was in there. I hold that flag because I'm emulating that we come from them, right?
Yeah.
It's not in the literal sense that they're there, but get royals in this house. So when I take it on the kahua with me, I carry them with me. That's why I do that. The last time anybody flew that flag in any places like the places that I've been was in the 1800s. That's the last time somebody flew that flag there. So I could die tomorrow and my kaha is cut already. Somebody else just has to take the reins and go off. If it's not me, it doesn't have to be. I just want us to be able to be pushed forward in every avenue as much as possible. Iyam Tongi is another one. American Idol. Just like the highest of highs for every Kanaka out there to the top. That's what I want to see. So with fighting, that's what I want to do with fighting. And if this is as high as I go, I did my job. Maybe it's not going to be me. Maybe it's going to be somebody's kid that I teach 10 years from now. I don't know. But, you know, no one's going to do it if I don't do it. That's what I'm trying to do.
Might cut you, bro. Beautifully said. So what are some other hobbies that you enjoy other than punching people in the face and putting huli in the ground?
I mean, I really take advantage of just relaxing and doing nothing. I'm an anime weeb.
Oh, bro, what animes you watch?
Yeah, that's why I focused on your glasses. I'm into One Piece. I mean, Naruto's kind of basic. Dragon Ball Z's kind of basic. Attack on Titan, Demon Slayer, Seven Deadly Sins. You know, freaking that Toriko one where it's about food. Like, there's a lot of different animes that I'm like into. Berserk was a good one. Vinland Saga on Netflix. I just started watching. It's pretty good. Season 2 is kind of ass, but.
Bro, you learn to love it. It's a different pace,
I appreciate the character development, but you kind of give us season 1.
Because it's not. It wasn't even supposed to be like. It's because season 1 is just showing you like how nuts like that stuff even is, bro. Like humans aren't supposed to be doing that to each other.
Yeah, they really targeted like the PTSD thing, and I could appreciate, but it was just like. I don't know, man. That's like animes where I go to escape and where cutting people's heads off is okay. So I'm like, yeah. Look at his uncle. His uncle's a freaking man.
Let me pitch this idea to you because I feel like you at least know like more people in spaces than I do. But why is there not an anime centered around Hawaiian mo'olelo in Olelo, Hawaii?
That'd be so cool, bro.
Would that not be the craziest production?
Ruling Chiefs is the Game of Thrones. That's real life. This shit really happened. All of that Game of Thrones shit, it's based off true stories and true characters, but they're all rearranged around throughout history. Those characters were never all together. These motherfuckers were real breathing shit, like poi pounding, coconut throwing, spear chucking guys. Like they're real. Like why wouldn't we do this? So I mean, Jason Momoa's kind of doing his thing with like the whole Kaiana into Kamehameha line. And we'll see how that goes. I have high hopes for that. But like we could easily translate that into cartoons. No need to hire actors. I can do different voices for you. Like I can talk like this. I can talk like I can do it. Like just
No.
Yeah.
That would be fucking killer though. Yeah, that's honestly like something I want to advocate for because bruh, I know we have Kanaka artists, I know we have Kanaka actors, like make something about our mo'olelos, bro. Cause like, bro, our stories is way more epic than like the Greek stories or like I don't know.
I wouldn't say it's more or less, but it's on the same level. It has the potential to blow the motherfucker up, bro. It's crazy. The system behind that, it's such an untapped market, and I wouldn't want like the wrong people to do it. Just like, I mean, Hawaiians is into like 1 foot on sand, 1 hand high in a can reggae music.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know that there are people that are working on video games. Like I know somebody that is working on a project with that. and I know somebody that's also working on like a comic book. So there is potential there to like turn the comic book into like a live action anime. Maybe if like Funimation picks it up or whatever. Like I don't know what kind of connections that you'd have to pull to get that done, but yeah, that'd be wild.
Or even like a smaller freaking animation
Like-
studio where it doesn't even need to be Funimation. It could be like EVTV.
Yeah, like a six episode like how they do with Disney Plus. Like those
Yeah,
limited
or
series. That'd be
something,
cool.
bro. That would be big time. Like it would be so nuts, like visualizing like Pele and Hiyaka and all of
You know what
that.
I mean, right? Like when it comes to like innovating into like 20, that's the shit I'm talking about, bro. Like that's what I want to see for everything.
Bro, my pet peeve is when Kanakas are like, I have a few friends that are kind of like, their manao isn't really, and they're like, bro, if it wasn't for America, Hawaii would blah blah blah. Blah. I'm just like, bro.
Offend a lot of people.
Do
right
you
now.
not even understand that Hawaii was ahead of America in so many ways, bro? Like Kalakaua literally like he was so progressive and it's so irritating how like you think that they brought us things that we had first.
If America didn't come around, Hawaiian wouldn't have internet. Hawaiian wouldn't have plumbing. Hawaiian wouldn't have Wi-Fi. You know who else has Wi-Fi, plumbing, and internet, and plumbing, and whatever I just repeated myself 6-7 times? The whole fucking planet. Everybody has that shit, and it wasn't America's fault. Okay, get out of here with that. Oh, well, if America didn't do it, you'd be Japanese or Russian or German right now. Oh yeah, can I rape you? If I don't rape you, somebody else is gonna rape you, and you're lucky if I rape you because I'm nicer. That's how you sound. You're stupid.
Bro, that Japan, like, I hate how they say, like, oh, other countries would have did it, but it's like, no, they wouldn't. We had treaties signed with them, and they're like,
Stupid.
they recognized us.
My point is, okay, like we can play the what if game. Like if this happened, maybe this would have happened. But the fact of the matter is, that's all fake. Like that's all imaginary and hypotheticals. What really happened is America said, "Hello, you can trust us," and we're like, "Okay, here's some land." And then they were like, "Just kidding, I'm betraying you."
Bro,
Knife in your
and
back.
it's even worse than that. It's like rich howlies, that's literally what it, rich business sugarmen felt that they were powerful, that they could go to our king with a bayonet and make him sign some bullshit ass constitution and then make like that holds power. Bro, that's the irritating thing. Is like none of those fucking documents have any validity and like they're trying to like hold it like as law. It's like fuck you guys, do the research. There was no treaty. You can't sign a fucking document under duress. A bayonet.
That's all like arguing. That's all arguing ignorance, right? Like when you have those arguments with those people, look at the people who's saying that stuff. Of course they don't. Of course they think that. Like they don't have like the space and capacity in their brains to look at it from a different perspective, and they never learned anything. All of a sudden, you tell them these things, and they go, "Oh, they're really just speaking out of pocket, and they don't know shit."
Bro, it's crazy to me that there's places in town where we still like honor the people that like did so much hella in Hawaii. Like all like bro. Rename those places back to the original shit. Stop fucking
Shout out
changing
to McKinney.
bro. Straight up. Alexander and Baldwin too. Those freakers are buying up literally every piece of Hawaii. And it's like, when is our leaders going to make it stop? Like, it's irritating how all of our elected officials, or most of them, are like people not even from here. It's like, how is that even possible? Because, like, one, what the fuck do they know about Hawaii and what we'd want? And two, like, bruh, they're literally just using here as a stepping stone to get wherever the fuck they're trying to go after. It's like, bruh, they're not gonna care about the long-lasting effects of the bullshit they fucking put into place. We gotta live through it.
Short-sighted, right? Yep. Yep. Mina, away. Still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
My bad. So, my favorite spot to grind in Maui is Tasty Crust. Shouts out. What is your hama spot to eat on Maui? So I can go next time.
Bro, Mamada's kitchen.
Hey, if the invite is open, I'm down for a review.
Yeah, I go talk story with them. But Sam Satos is a good spot. I think Sam Satos is my favorite place to go. But Honestly, bro, like asking me about food is like, oh, actually, the food trucks in across the street from Costco, those ones is all good. I like the street food too. Like, all of that, they get like one little parking zone in Haiku in that shopping center. They get one local grown truck over there, and then they have like a Mediterranean spot. It's a good little way of, like in the bushes that you can find on the way to Hana and whatever.
Bro, so in the chat right now, we're talking about good spots to eat on Maui, yeah? One of the viewers goes, Nagasako's no kaoi. And then
What?
this other viewer goes, don't listen to this guy. He puts ketchup on his lao.
Only put ketchup on dry lao lao, okay? If you just made them good, I wouldn't have to do that, okay? Don't do that all the time. It was one video and one joke, and at least I'm honest with myself. All you guys is lying and putting sugar on your poi and just not telling everybody, okay?
That's
Get off
classic.
my back. If you know how to throw spears and throw on one malo and get one headshot and one coconut from 15 yards, then you can eat whatever you like, okay? Like, see, I taught.
Yes, if you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Teleporting.
Teleporting. How come?
I hate travel.
Oh, okay. Bro, I
Like
hate
going
flying
places.
too, yeah.
I don't like going anywhere. I don't like driving to work. I don't like flying to Idaho. I don't like going anywhere.
Would it be
I like
teleporting like the movie Jumper, or would it be like a different, like how would it work?
I guess Jumper would be the one, cause like all I had to do is look at one picture, right?
Yeah, you gotta like visualize,
you're
but
like-
you
if
get
you're
the
like-
you get the scary Samuel L. Jackson chasing you though. He can follow you through your little jumps.
If I was him, I would just hug him and teleport him to the sky so he hits the pavement. People are stupid. They don't know how to. These people don't know how to fight. This guy was like a bum trailer trash boy that got bullied in school, got dunked in a lake, didn't know how to freaking live his life and defend himself. I would have. Yeah, my brother, I got you. Boom, fucking out the top of the Empire State Building, splat. Nice try. That's what I would do. How hard is that? It's just because people don't know how to fight. That's why. Anyways, I
Bro,
just
the
got
movie
heated.
would be done if you was the main character, straight up.
It wouldn't even last, bruh. And then if you're like Azazel or Kurt Wagner from X-Men, they can only teleport to where they
What
see.
they
so
see,
that's kinda
yeah, like they can't even go to the horizon.
Can't even go to the bathroom. like this kind of shit. I could just be here from the other side of my room. But
Yeah,
I jumped.
that's classic. Fucking I feel like my superpower I would choose was to be control time.
Ooh.
Like kind of like a click remote, but more like in my now. But the reason being is because like I would want to go back in time to see like how the fuck shit was made, like pyramids, hell, bro, even hell, like they're literally half pyramids if you fucking look at them. Like it's just so nuts, bro. Like there's this one hell in like Micronesia, and it's literally like basalt pillars stacked like a log cabin, bro. And I just tripped. Like how the fuck could people make that back then? But yeah, I would want to control time to go in the past, go in the future, pause time if I ever get into a scrap, so I can like fucking get a few hits in before, or slow mo 'em when we're actually fighting. But yeah, controlling time would be a killer one.
That's a good one. I would go back and see everything.
Fuck yeah, I hope that happens like when I holla, like.
That's exactly what I say every time. Like when I go, I'll like go back and see all the stuff.
Yeah,
Ask all the questions.
I just want to know everything that I ever wondered.
Really want to see who ate Captain Cook. I want to see who did that.
I really want to see who built the pyramids, bro.
You know why they built the pyramids? Because they never have diabetes. It was all healthy. They never have gout by the time they was 40.
Do you are you familiar with that new theory that they have that like there was like a ancient civilization like at the end of the last ice age that like probably freaking was built by like pre-Egyptians, and then the Egyptians built over them?
I'm not familiar with it, but I wouldn't doubt it for a second.
Yeah,
People
that's
that shocked me. For me, like any kind of history, like beyond contact of like industrial science or civilization, I don't believe a word of it. I just see them as theories. If you tell me another theory, it wouldn't surprise me. I believe in aliens.
Hoi hoi.
I think that's a thing.
So,
Like,
do you think that aliens are like just watching us and like not interfering, or they're among us and like we just don't know yet?
I would say a little bit of both. I don't think that there's like a secret, like I don't think it's that deep where they're like watching our every move or whatever. I think they're just like, okay, those guys are them. Let's like kind of let them, I definitely think that there's life outside of this planet. I don't think that we're that special.
Okay, I like that.
It's a very American way or a human way of looking at things. It's very selfish. I don't think that humans are that special in the universe. I just think that we're just so happen to be allowed to exist.
Yeah.
So different from plants, animals, rocks, and shit. Like,
Yeah, it's not how there's like rocks like in space too.
yeah,
If you think about it, like just chilling there.
there's yeah, there's too many unanswered questions. There's no way that there's no other life outside.
So,
And
what is one of the biggest misconceptions people have about you that that you know about that ain't true?
honestly, common misconception is that I'm mean. I'm a really nice guy. Like they see my ears, they see my bald ass head, and it's also like I am mean, okay? But I'm mean to people who deserve it. All right? I'm not that stereotypical, I'm gonna beat you up if I'm mad at you. First of all, I'm 4'11. Like I can't beat up too many people, just women and children and guys my size that don't know how to fight, mostly. Okay. Like I'm only mean to people if you're stupid. Like, I don't have anger issues. If you weren't stupid, I wouldn't be angry and mean to you. Just be better. You notice everyone that gets along with me aren't stupid. So that's the misconception of how you look at me and how I look at things. People think that I care about what other people think about me, and I don't. What you see is what you get. I really have no secrets. If you ask me anything, I'll tell you, and I've got no shame, And that's to my fault sometimes. Like, that kind of bites me in the ass every once in a while. But I feel like there's too many people all over the world that's taken already. So I'm the only me. I'm the only Pololu on this planet, literally in every shape of the word. The name, the person, the thing, Like, why be anybody else?
Ew, I like that. So, what are some of the most rewarding aspects of both of your professions, whether it be fighting or like I wouldn't say like malamaina is a profession, but it's definitely you like perpetuate it.
Kuleana.
Yeah.
So I would say that the most rewarding thing that I can take from fighting and farming is you can see the results, and everything is on you. The fight by itself has a nature. It has a winner, it has a loser, it has action, right? Aina, there's water, there's earth, everything is there at your disposal. You are the one that's the instrument that dictates the outcome. If you do really well, knock somebody out in 30 seconds. If you run far, you do a lot of work, maybe you get abs in the way in. You see the results, right? And maybe like you train a certain way, you can see the punches coming. You can see all these things coming to you. There's palpable and like something physical that you can hold on to, that you can see the results of your labor. And maybe the lessons that you have to learn. That's like if you're getting sleep, if you're getting dropped on your ass, maybe don't panic for a double leg. Maybe just sit down and take your time to recover. Maybe instead of putting too much potassium in the soil, you get that triple 16 and you get like the different kind of fertilizer. Maybe you switch to freaking bone marrow and blood fertilizer and natural products, so you can see you see what I'm saying, right? Like
Yeah.
you can add different things in your kalo, in your water, in your mud to see
What affects it? How it affects it?
Now you take it home and you make it for your family, and they're full. They don't gotta go buy poi that get too much sugar inside, and they don't gotta go buy one lao lao that's dry, so they gotta put ketchup on top and itchy mouth. Maybe you just have all of these physical attributes that comes from you and your relationship with the akua that's already sitting there, with Apahana, Moku, Haumea, and Kanelua. Like you have these relationships with these different akua, and there's physical fruits of your labor. That's what I think is the most rewarding. And it doesn't just reward yourself; it rewards everyone around you. Yeah. So
Facts. Well, frick, bro, this is like probably one of my favorite pods I ever did. Like, I kind of don't want it to end, bro. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, not really, bro. Just keep being Kanaka, unapologetic, Hawaiian as fuck, Kanaka forever. Never, ever, ever settle for less. You know, I always try to implement Kanaka into everything that I do. From something as simple as wearing one pa'u or one lava lava when you're downstairs cooking dinner. I don't recommend bacon. I burnt my stomach wearing a shirt. Maybe put on one ahula or something. I don't know. But anyway, just trying to incorporate Hawaiian things in everything that you do, some way, shape, or form, as much as you can. The reason why Hawaii is so behind is because we were never afforded the opportunity to play with it because it wasn't ours. There's a time gap. There's a blip between 1890 and 1976. Now is our time to elevate. That's how we ensure our survival. The most important thing in this life to me is the survival of my people, our people. So that's how you do that. As long as we making Hawaiian kids saying Hawaiian words, it's a fuck you to the system, and we're never gonna die. We're never gonna lose. That's it.
Well, Roger, bro, finally, what does aloha mean to you?
I think we covered that, right? Aloha is conditional. Stretch yourself too far. Be careful. The condition of aloha and unconditional and everything that it was worked for them at that time. Aloha yourself first. Aloha your family first. Aloha your community first. Then you can stretch everybody else thin. Because if you're not solid, your family not solid. Be healthy, strong, pono, eat when you're supposed to eat, sleep when you're supposed to sleep. Take care of yourself, because if you don't have that, your aloha is worthless. That's when aloha goes to die. Be careful with it. That's what aloha means to me.
Oh, right on, bro. Mahalo for your time, your mana'o, your everything. I really enjoyed this. And yeah, bro, I hope we can stay in touch.
No, I'm mahalo you, bro. This is a haka for us. Guys in our age group, being Hawaiian is okay now. It's attractive. It is appealing. It's a lot of work. So when I see guys like you put in work with your weapons and put in work with this, never have this 10 years ago. So that's because of you, bro. You keep doing that work and you keep networking and making mana with all these other Kanakas. Keep pushing us. You're doing good work.
Right on, bro. I mahalo that a lot. Hey, one of our viewers, to take it off, they say Hawaii went from being the first nation with colored ink on newspaper and lights before the Buckingham Palace, and now we behind in a lot of areas because of our government.
Okay. So my question to that person is, we know what the problem is, right? What are you gonna do about it?
Bro, I was talking to Brenton Owa. He literally said, like, candidates, they only needed like 8,000 votes to win, bro. And that means like 8,000 people, their voices and opinions decided our lives, bro. Like, screw that.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta vote. But yeah, right on, bro. I mahalo you a lot. And I would definitely be, I'll be in touch. You got a fucking lifelong supporter right here. And if you ever find yourself on Oahu, bro, hele mai oi.
Mahalo.
Yeah.
Mahalo.
Automatic.
Ahui ho.
Ahui ho. Well, everybody, thanks for a good ass stream.